I'm Ms. Vazone, and today we're going to be graphing lines in point-slope form. Alright, so what is the formula for slope? You should know this by now, we've been talking about this. So that's your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the reason I ask that is point slope actually comes from this. Imagine I put my m over 1. Now I'm going to cross multiply. So remember, when you cross multiply, you got to keep these together. Okay? So m times x2 minus x1. I'm just going to write m times x2 minus x1 equals 1 times y2 minus y1. You know what? We're going to flip it. I did it backwards. So I'm going to put my y's over here. So my y2 minus y1. Oops. Now I'm going to take the 1 away because we know everything multiplied by 1 is itself. Equals m times x2 minus x1. Now all I'm going to do is change my subscripts. So I'm going to change this one to just a plain y minus y0 equals m times x minus x0. This is the equation for point slope. A lot of students, especially younger high school students, get a little thrown off by x0, y0. Those are just common terms for your starting point. So x0 and y0 represent our point, m is our slope, and x and y are your typical x and y variables that you have in an equation of a line. Okay, so all we're going to do when you graph a line in point slope, instead of starting at your y-intercept like normal, we're going to just plot the point that's in the equation. Right? We have this point x0 and y0 that's in there. We're going to plot that, and then from that point we're going to use our slope. Pause the video if you need more time to write. Alright, so one thing I like to do with my students, just to make sure you can identify what you need to identify first, is to just look at these and we're just going to say, okay, what's the point and what's the slope? So at the top I'm going to write the equation again. So it's y minus y0 equals m times x minus x0. So for number 1, what do you think the slope is? Well, slope is whatever's in front of x outside the parentheses. So what's outside my parentheses? 2. So m is 2. And then what do you think the xy is? Now notice here, this is a minus. Because that's a minus, my x0 is in front of the minus. So this is in a minus, so what do you think my x0 has to be? It's actually negative 4. Okay? Imagine this is really x minus negative 4. So the minus is part of the equation, it's actually negative 4. Look at the y value. Ignore the negative, and it's just 7. Another way to think about it, just flip the sign. When you see a plus, you put a minus. When you see a minus, put a plus. Next one. M equals whatever's in front of your parentheses. And then your starting point. Change the sign of the inside. Change the sign. Negative 8. Right, you always flip the sign. Because that 1 is that negative is part of the equation. So it's just the 1 that's your slope. That's your x value. Here, there's no minus, you have to imagine it's in there, so that it's just that negative 8. That's your y value. Pause the video and try number 3 and 4 on your own. For number 3, my slope is 2/3, the number in front of the parentheses. My x value, I can change the sign, negative 7. Y value, change the sign, positive 4. Last one, m, again in front of the parentheses, -4/5. Now this one's a little tricky. What's the x value? Change the sign, it's just this 6. Y value? Yeah, there's nothing over there, so what would it be? 0. I see some students trying to distribute. The only problem with doing that is a lot of times, at least I do, I'll give you something where the y-intercept is super crazy. So rewriting these in y-intercept form is, slope-intercept form is not always helpful because you'll get crazy numbers. You don't want to scale. It's simple. Plot that point, do your slope. Alright, so very similar to the way we graph with slope and y-intercept. So just like before, let's start by writing down our slope. Slope is 2, and my starting point is -5, 1. Now slope, remember, we've read it as a fraction, so we're going to write it as 2/1. And then we have to figure out which way we're going. Positive slope looks like this. I'm going to do up over right. So we're going to go up 2 and right 1. Okay. Where do we begin? That's why I named it starting point. We start at the starting point. So -5, 1. So from here, from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1. So instead of starting on the y-axis, I'm just starting here. From here, we're going to use our slope. Up 2, over 1. Up 2, over 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. So notice the y-intercept is up here, it's 11. You could scale it, but that's just annoying. You don't want to do that. You can also go down and left. Down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. Put as many points as your teacher wants you to. And that's our graph using point slope. Alright, pause the video. Try it on your own. Alright, so in this one, my slope is -2/3. Right, that number in front of x. And my point, +3, -5. Remember, change the sign. -3, make it +3. +5, make it -5. I have negative slope this time, so it looks like this. So let's see, we're going to be at 3, -5, right? So that means I want to go up. If I'm down here to start, my slope, I should be going up. So that means I'm going to go up 2. Now am I going to go right or left? Left. 3. Alright, negative slope, I'm going to go up and left. So start, our starting point, 3, -5. Over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, we're going to go up 2. 1, 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Draw our line. And if you have a ruler, use it. I mean, technically we should be using rulers, but it's kind of awkward with a smart board. All right, good. Let's do another one. All right, pause the video, try it on your own. All right, so this is like that last one we did when we were just identifying. So my slope is 4/5. My starting point, change the sign on the inside, -7, and I don't have anything on my y, is 0. Now, this is a good one, like, if you really wanted to distribute, you could, but look at this, would you really want to distribute this? Because if you distribute 4/5 to 7, you're going to get some nasty decimal, and we don't like decimals, right? We'd rather leave nice numbers. Alright, positive slope, so that's up and right. Up 4, right 5. have -7, 0, 10, 9, 8, 7, up 4 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my line. Alright. So, again, this is pretty simple. This is much nicer than some of the other graphing stuff that you do. Alright, last thing, write the steps. It's just helpful, especially if this is not the easiest topic for you. So, and you can use this for slope-intercept, just replace starting point with the y-intercept. So find the slope and starting point. That starting point can be any point or it can be your y-intercept. Start at that point and use your slope to rise and run. Find 2 to 3 other lines, and I like to say confident line. It drives me nuts when kids draw lines that are like that. Draw a nice confident line, arrows, and all that. Okay. Hope this was helpful. Have a great day.